Hi friends, my name is Kim. Welcome to Cottage Kim Cooks. Welcome to my kitchen. I am so happy to have you with me today. Today we are going to finish up the cabbage that we made earlier this week, and we are going to make unstuffed cabbage roll casserole. I looked up several recipes online, and we're going to do a little bit of a variation of what I've seen. I'm going to do somewhat what I do for cabbage rolls, but then making sure that I have the right amount of liquid so that the rice cooks in the casserole. So the first thing we're going to do is cook up our ground beef. And I have my skillet getting hot. And we're going to add this beef. And I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And this does call for a 9 by 13 pan. So I will get that out as well. And while that beef is browning, we're going to go ahead and cut up our cabbage. Just into bite-sized pieces. And we're going to put our cabbage in a big bowl so we can mix this all together. So hopefully you've already watched the video of the cabbage and noodles and onion and bacon that I made, and that was a delicious recipe. We really enjoyed that in my house. And it was very comforting, and I shared with you in that video that I had weighed 180 pounds, and I think sometimes it's just water retention, and I probably just get on the scales too often, because the next day I was down to 178, which is where I want to be. I do seem to fluctuate 5 pounds between 175 and 180, or 178 and 182. I seem to always be fluctuating these 5 pounds, and as long as I'm not going over that, I need to not worry about it. Sometimes I'm going to eat foods that are a little less healthy for me, but I can tell you that in my house, we are working on everyone getting healthier. And so we're really focusing on protein and lower carbs, really focusing on sodium content. So I don't like, what do you call those drinks with artificial sweetener? I can't stand artificial sweetener. And my nephrologist told me one time that artificial sweetener was just as bad for you as sugar for your kidneys. So that was a good excuse for me not to drink it, things with artificial sweetener. And that's why you don't see me make videos of sweet treats using artificial sweetener, because I really do not like the taste. But not everybody in my family has that same feeling. My daughter-in-law is somebody who absolutely loves Diet Coke and different diet drinks. And those protein drinks are very popular with my family. And so we've been looking at the ones that have fewer milligrams of sodium, or fewer grams of sodium, not just the reduced cholesterol or reduced carbohydrates, reduced fat, and reduced sugar, reduced calories. But I can tell you that these zero products seem to have a better breakdown than a lot of other things. So like Propel Grape, that's 0 calories, but it has 160 grams of sodium. And the Lipton Diet Citrus Tea, that has around 160 or 150 grams of sodium in it as well. But the zero tea that, I don't know what brand it is, Pure Leaf, zero sugar tea, that has 0 grams of sodium in it. So it has 0 grams of sugar, 0 grams of sodium, 0 grams of fat, 0 calories. So how does it have 0 calories? Is that possible? But we're looking at all those things. We're looking at increasing our activity level. So I talked to you about that the other day. Looking at starting to walk. The pool will be opening this summer. I live in a community where we have a pool, and very excited to get to be in the pool again this summer. And walking in our community. We live in a private community, and so it's safe to walk, and I'll be able to walk when the weather starts to be a consistent temperature. Yesterday was 90 degrees and today is 50 degrees. So that's quite a fluctuation, I would say. I changed my clothes 3 times this morning before I settled in on a sweatshirt, and now I'm hot. So just go to figure. That sounded like something my grandma would say. So I'm going to add a 29-ounce can of tomato sauce to our bowl. We do need to chop some onion. I think this beef is almost done. We have just a couple pieces that are still pink, and you want to cook it until the pink is cooked through. I shared with you in the last video the new way that I follow, that I learned following Christine's notebook to cut an onion, and it worked absolutely splendidly. So I'm going to do that again, where you cut it in half with the root end staying intact. And then you peel back your skin, and then you cut straight across to the root, not quite all the way to the root, so you're not cutting all the way through, so it stays intact. And then you cut along this way. And that may seem very simple to some of you, but as I mentioned before, some of you have really struggled with the way I cut an onion, so I think you'll be happier now. Maybe. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and add my beef. I don't need to drain it. I used extra lean 90-10 beef and don't have any extra grease in this. I love this skillet. So we'll finish cutting this onion. So we've got the beef in, the cabbage, and that was about a little more than half a head of cabbage cut up. It does call for 2 pounds of ground beef, and I only had 1 pound, but that's okay. It can be a little heavier on the cabbage and a little lighter on the beef. My family won't mind. We're vegetable lovers. And we want to do a teaspoon of salt. So I'll add the salt. And then it doesn't call for pepper, but that seems very unusual to me, so we'll add some pepper. We want to add 1 cup of uncooked white rice, and it uses long grain. I'm going to cough because of that pepper. Pardon me. There happened to be the scissors that were lost the other day, so those have been found. So I don't have to use my kitchen shears again. So we're going to do 1 cup of long grain rice. And then it calls for 28 ounces of beef broth. I'm going to do a mixture of beef broth and vegetable juice because, pardon me, when I make my cabbage rolls, I make them with vegetable juice. And that just adds so much really good flavor. And so we'll add half of the can, which that's a 29-ounce can. So we'll add half of the can of vegetable juice, and half of the can will be the beef broth. And then we'll add that to our bowl. We'll give that a good mix. And it doesn't say that we need to do anything specific to our pan to ready it. We just need to mix our mixture up so everything's covered. The rice is covered. I will say that I think this needs a little bit more beef broth in order to cook that rice. So I would say that was about 3/4 of a cup more. And we're going to add this to our 13 by 9 pan. Oh, it's heavy. And I don't want it to splash all over me. I'm a little concerned because the rice is not completely submerged under the liquid. So we'll see how that works. The cabbage will have some of its own liquid. It'll release some liquid as it cooks down, and as it cooks down, the rice will go down lower than the liquid level. So I think it'll work. We're going to cook this for an hour. Let's see if it calls to be, if it needs to be covered. Cover the dish with aluminum foil or a lid. So I'm going to grab some foil, cover it, and then we're just going to put this in the oven for 1 hour at 350 degrees. And then we're going to stir, replace the cover, and bake for another 30 minutes. So it does cook for an hour and a half. So hopefully my family is not very hungry right now. So we will put this in the oven for an hour, take it out, stir it up, which I think will help get that rice settled in, and cook it for another 30 minutes. We'll come back and taste it. Okay, so this smells delicious. It looks good. I went ahead and cooked it for another 40 minutes because the rice didn't look cooked at all. I'm going to grab a bowl and a spoon, actually a fork. So it looks delicious. And while this bite is cooling off, I will give you the nutrition information. So this makes 8 servings. Calories are 461. Carbohydrates are 37, but fiber is 7. So you're looking at 30 net carbs, so not bad at all. Even though we're having rice, I think that's awesome. Protein is 26 grams and fat is 23 grams. And our, your cholesterol is only 80 milligrams. So under the 100 milligrams, we try to be under to be cholesterol friendly. Under the 45 grams of carbs that we try to be diabetic friendly. And it smells absolutely heavenly. So we'll give this a taste. So it has excellent flavor, but the cabbage is still a little al dente. So I would probably cook it for another 20 minutes so that that cabbage gets a little bit more done. But it has really exceptional flavor. So I think my family is going to enjoy this. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, CottageKimCooks. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I really enjoyed our time together today, friends. I hope you did as well. And I look forward to cooking with you again soon. Take care.